Cotton has been around for many, many years, and its uses have also increased throughout time, expanding to many industries like beauty, health and wellness, comfort, and fashion. But today, we'll be focusing on how this simple raw material is processed into the very heart of the fashion industry. Hi, I'm Arian Zeribanyas, and this is how cotton is manufactured and processed into fabric. Cotton plants usually require a lot of sunshine and a typically tropical climate with medium rainfall. Once the cotton ball, which is the fruit-like structure containing the cotton fibers, matures, it bursts open and the snow-white cotton fibers are exposed. These bolts are collected and drawn into yarn. Several farms use harvesting tractors to collect the cotton that they have planted. As you can see here, this is what happens inside a harvesting tractor. Before we can turn these fibers into yarn, we should first separate the and the soft fluffy part, which can be carried out either manually or with the use of a machine. The process of separating the seeds and the fibers is called as ginning. The first stage of the ginning process is at the feeder bay, where harvested cotton fibers are transferred to the area where it will be processed. As soon as they have been transported, cotton fibers are then rinsed and dried. The next stage is the pre-cleaning stage, which uses the inclined cylinder cleaner or stick machine. The cotton is then sent to the air-conveyed to gin stands, where revolving circular saws pull the lint from the saw teeth by air blast or by rotating brushes. Seeds are then separated from the cotton fibers. Then, at the final stage, the cotton will be compressed into 500-pound bales. These bales of cotton are shipped to textile spinning mills for further processes. A quality control team will monitor the overall process to ensure quality. Cotton should contain at the very least 5% of moisture. There are two basic types of ginning that you may find. These are saw ginning and roller ginning. Saw ginning provides more clean cotton compared with manual or handheld separation process of seed from cotton. Roller ginning is a modern way of ginning. It is an automatic method where productivity is maximized. For industrial purposes, this type of ginning is preferred. The fabric usually used in the clothes we wear is produced through two processes. The first is called spinning process, where raw cotton is turned into thread, and the second is called weaving process, where the thread is woven into fabric. Once ginning is successfully carried out, the fibers are taken for the next step, which is the spinning process. There are a few different ways that you can spin yarn, but the most common ways of spinning as far as bed linen and towels are concerned are open-ended spinning, ring spinning, and compact spinning. Open-end spinning, also known as brake spinning or rotor spinning, is a technology that was created to allow creation of a yarn without the use of a spindle. While open-end spinning is the fastest and cheapest way of producing yarn, with it being up to 5 times faster than ring spinning, it does have its limitations. Open-end spinning is limited to the production of thicker or coarser yarn. The yarns are hairier, and the fabric will be more likely to pill or bubble, so it's not a good method for making fine quality bed linen. As such, it's generally better for making heavier fabrics, such as towels. Ring spinning is the oldest system and is based on the original yarn spinning method. Ring spinning is a continuous process in which the fibers are twisted and narrowed to create a fine rope of cotton fibers. The more the fibers twisted, the softer the fabric will be. It works by using a ring frame made from pressed steel. Spindles sit on each side of the frame, while drafting rollers sit above them with a creel laden with bobbins of what's known as roving. Ring spinning isn't used in production as much as open-end systems, but it still produces a yarn quality that is of better quality than open-end. It has the widest possible yarn count range and as such excels in creating very fine counts, making it ideal for luxury bedding. These fine yarns are smoother, more durable, and much less hairy than an open-end yarn. However, due to the additional steps that go into the roving and winding of the yarn and the slower production rate, it results in it being much more expensive to produce the yarn by this method. Compact spinning is a modern method that involves condensing the fibers together by air suction to create a more optimal integration into the yarn body. The air suction pulls the fibers into the yarn to give it smoothness and strength. The yarn is then tightly twisted. Because the fibers are sucked tightly into the yarn, good quality yarns can be produced from shorter staple length cotton as no fibers ended up sticking out. Another benefit is that the yarn can be produced with a higher speed than ring spinning. While compact yarn is the least hairy of the methods presented here and will give a nice smooth fabric that makes it ideal for bed linens, it's still not as effective as combing the fiber before the spinning process, as the shorter fibers are still there if it hasn't been combed first. Weaving is a process in which two sets of yarns are weaved together to make a fabric. The lengthway threads, known as the warp, and crossway threads, known as the weft, are interlaced on a loom to form the desired fabric. In weaving, the warp thread and weft yarn are crossed over one another in a set method to weave the required type of fabric. A machine designed to accomplish this task is called a loom. First, the warp thread and weft yarn are prepared so that they can be set into the loom. The first step in the weaving process is called warping. In this stage, cheese or cones are set on a warping machine to wind the predetermined length and number of yarns onto the predetermined number of warping beams under constant tension. Then, the warping beams of the required number of warps of the final textile are piled up for winding on beams after sizing and drying. To prepare for setting beams on a loom, warps are routed in the order of droppers, helds, and guide bars. Then the actual weaving process takes place. Here, prepared beams are set on a looming frame to weave a textile in the following 5 motions. First is shredding. Shredding are two groups of warps are opened to let the weft pass through. Second is picking. Here, the weft is inserted between two groups of warps. Third is beat up. Beat up is pushing the newly inserted yarn back into the fell using reed. Fourth is let off. Here, the warp yarns are unwound from the warp beam. And lastly is the take up. Here, the woven fabric is wound on the cloth beam. After the weaving is the inspection or folding. The fabric is inspected and folded. Imperfections are corrected as required. The fabric is then grated. Then, packing. The fabric is packed in a manner appropriate to the shipping conditions, and the finished product is sold.